Hey, this is Digital Stereo Guitar. Today we're going to look at some basic chords that you can play. So these are chords for a beginner guitarist. You may be a bit more advanced, but you just want to get some tweaking of some of the basic chords. So let's go through them now. Alright, so we're going to look at a few different chords. We're going to look at the G chord. We're going to look at the D chord. We're going to look at the E chord. We're going to look at the A chord. And we're going to look at the C chord. Okay, so G, D, E, A, and then your C. So the first one is the G chord. Great chord. A lot of songs have got this sort of chord. One of those first chords that I would recommend you to learn. Very, very helpful chord. Sounds fantastic. Sounds just like that. And essentially what we're looking at there is you've got your middle finger on that top fret of the third fret there. The top string of the third fret, okay? So 1, 2, 3. That is the third fret of the top E string. Then you've got your first finger is on the second fret of the second string. Alright? Now, some people play this part differently. I'll show you the way that I like to do it. Definitely you want to have your pinky on that third fret of the last string, of the sixth string. Right? Alright? Now, whether you choose to leave this out or not is up to you. But if you play it like this, sounds like so. I like to add an extra little bit of flavor and put my ring finger also on the third fret, but now of the fifth string down. This creates a nice fuller sound. Now, what I recommend is when you're picking up your guitar and you're starting to learn these chords, you'll find that it can be pretty difficult to get that sound perfectly, right? Your fingers may be hurting. Well, they will be hurting. Like when you start, they're going to hurt. They're going to take some time to start getting a little bit, rough along the edges. But then once you've practiced long enough, you'll be able to play that. Now, important with this chord is that the third and the fourth strings, you want them to be open. All right? So you don't want noise coming out of those, out of your finger. Well, you don't want your fingers pushing down on those two strings. Okay, so 1, 2, and then 3, 4 are going to be open, and then 5, and then 6. All right, so that is the G chord. Now you may find that after you've been playing for a while, you find that there are different ways to play a G chord, right? There are different methods of playing. You can also play a G chord here. You can also play a G an octave higher, all the way there as well. All right, or you can play it all the way over here. Well, a bit hard, but doesn't sound too good. Further up the neck, but anyway. So that is a G chord, all right? A G major chord. Just to be clear, because you may hear the term minor as well. A G minor chord is different to a G major chord. You'll generally pick a minor chord because it sounds a little bit more sad and not as happy as a major chord. So if we show you an example, so you've got a G major chord, or here, versus the minor chord, it sounds a bit more sad. Major, minor. Major, minor. So you can probably pick that up. Alright, so that is the G chord. The D, right? D major chord. Great chord to know. Let's go through it. So, there are 4 notes that you're going to be playing on this D. Okay, you're not playing the top 2 strings, which are an E and an A. You're not playing those two. You're playing the 4 down, from the 3rd down to the 4th, 5th and 6th. Those 4 strings here. So you're playing an open D, which is the 3rd string down. Hence the chord is a D. You're playing the note D in there. Then you got your first finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and then your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. And you're strumming the 4 down. Alright? Now if yours does sound a little bit muted, it doesn't sound good, try to tilt your hand up so that you're actually hitting all those. Best trick is once you've got that shape, try to pick each note individually and see what it sounds like. Okay, if you're hearing one that sounds like this, oh, that's got a problem. There we go. Alright, so make sure you've got your hand tilted, that you don't have any of your other fingers palming on one of the other strings. So you want to be able to hear like so. Alright, so again, an open D, first finger on that 2nd fret of the 4th string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and then your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. That is a D major. So an E major chord sounds like this. Great big bold sound. Alright. Let's go through that. So you've got an open E, you're holding that top string, which is an E, leaving it open. Then you've got your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string down, which is the A string. Your ring finger again on the 2nd fret, but now of the 3rd string down. Right? The 3rd string, which is a D string, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Your first finger is on the 1st fret of the 4th string down. Okay? And then the last 2 strings are open, which means you don't have your finger on any of them, they're just open, like that. And you just strum, like so. If you're hearing anything muted, okay, that means that you're not either pushing hard enough, alright, or one of your fingers could be touching a string that it shouldn't. So make sure you've got your hand tilted up slightly and that you've got your finger on each fret pushing down hard enough so that when you can play each note individually and it sounds okay, you're good. That is an E major chord. Okay? You can also play that E major chord an octave higher. We're not going to go through it here, but you can play it also up here. You can also play it over here. Alright? So that is the E major chord on the guitar. Let's go through the A major chord on the guitar. Sounds very cool, very cheery. It's an A major, A minor. Alright, sounds a bit more sad. We're playing the major version. Sounds more happy. To play this, we are not going to be hitting that top E string. Alright, that top string, right? You're only hitting the 5 strings down. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 strings, not that top one. So the first one is just the 2nd string you're just holding open. There's no finger on a fret. Yeah? Then you've got your first finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string down, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string down, and your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string down. And then the last string is open. And you're strumming, again, from the 5th string downwards. Like so. What you can also do is, if you find it hard to do that, you can also mute your finger across all of them. But what may be hard, if you're doing that, is that top string. You don't want to be strumming that 2nd fret of the top string. So sometimes when you're muting it, when you're barring it, sorry, not muting it, barring it across those, you're going to get that, what's an F sharp, you don't want that in that chord. Alright, so I just play it like this. An A major. Alright, so open, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, and then open on that last one. That is the A major. The C major chord. Excellent chord to learn. Alright, and to play that, we are going with your ring finger, you're on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string down, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string down, then the next string is open, so you're not having a finger on that. Then you got your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 5th string down, and then the last string is open, like so. Now, depends on the guitarist. Some people like to also play that top note. I personally don't. You can have it in there because the chord does have an E in it anyway. So you can have it in there if you want to. I just like to leave it blank. That's just my personal preference. So, alright, make sure when you're playing that you can hear every single note. Okay, make sure you don't have your finger muting a particular note. So always a good trick is when you're holding that chord is to pick each individual note, right? Oh. Okay, so that one's a little bit buzzy, which means I may need to just raise my, there we go. So I have to raise my hand a bit. And that last one as well, oops, I need to just raise my, there we go. Alright, so it's always good when you do have your shape set up and configured, right, on your guitar. Strumming it may sound cool, but pick each individual note and actually see if you're actually able to hear every note perfectly. So that is the C major. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, Digital Stereo Guitar, for a whole bunch of more videos.